Hello everyone, welcome to 30 Days Data Science Project Series Day 5. Today I come up with a new project called Real-Time Face Detection Project. In this particular project, we are going to do the detection for two phases. A first phase we can do the detection for images, and in a second phase we can do the detection in a real time with our camera. Okay, so two types of the detection that we are going to do in this particular project. So let's first of all try to understand a complete terminology for a face detection, and after that we can start a practical implementation. Now if I talk about the practical implementation wise, so we are going to write a complete modular coding, and with the help of modular coding then we can build this particular face detection project. So let's first of all try to focus on the terminology. So we have a terminology in a face detection whenever we are going to use a model, and our model always detect the faces based upon the landmark. So as you can see in this particular images, we have a total 68 landmark starting from the 1 until 68. So total 68 landmark that we have in this particular images. Now based upon this particular landmark, whenever we are going to use a face detection model, our model detect the faces based upon this particular complete landmark. Now in this particular landmark, as you can see, we have some of the number, or we can say the face encoding number that we have. So here if I talk about this particular point, so here this is the eye encoding data that we have, or eye landmark data that we have. Again this is the left hand and the right hand mark. Okay, now after that here we have a notch, this particular notch. Now we have a mouth, so this is the complete landmark or the encoding face encoding data that we have, a complete number. Then starting from the here, so as you can see this is the different number that we have. Okay, so here that we have the 14, 15, 16 and the 17. Okay, so because of the PPT it's not visible, but here that we have the 16 and 17, after that 18 here that we have. Okay, so in this way the complete landmark that we have, and based upon this particular landmark, whenever we are going to use a face detection model, our face detection model predict or detect the faces based upon this particular complete landmark, or based upon this particular complete face encoding. Now let me show you one of the images. So here we have one of the images, as you can see. So this is the human image that we have, and based upon this particular landmark, so as you can see here that we have the complete below part that we have starting from the 1 until 17 that we have. Now this is the complete left hand eye that we have, this is the right hand eye. Here that we have the notch, and these are the complete mouth landmark or the face encoding data that we have. This is the eyebrow that we have for both the left as well as for the right hand eyebrow, and based upon this one, as you can see, this is the complete detection image that we are getting, a face detection image. Okay, so based upon this particular face that we have our complete landmark, or we have our complete face encoding, and in the same way whenever we are going to use a face detection model, our face detection model detect the faces based upon this particular landmark or based upon this particular face encoding. Okay, so in this way our complete face detection terminologies work. Now let's try to start a practical implementation, and as I mentioned, in a practical implementation that we are going to start from the scratch, and the complete code we are going to write in a modular coding, and after that we can build a Flask based application. Okay, so let's start the implementation. So implementation wise, let me open my VS Code. Okay, so this is the VS Code that we have, and in this particular VS Code I have only one file right now, a readme.md file. Okay, in this particular readme.md file that I have mentioned a complete how that we can do the setup for this particular project. So first of all we need to create the new environment. So let me open my terminal here, say, and here I am going to select the new terminal. After that, from here I'm going to select my command prompt. Let me close my camera so that it will get visible. Okay, now here as you can see we are going to select the first command to create the new environment. So first of all we are going to create the new environment. So we have a command called conda create -p venv. It means the environment name that we are going to write, a venv python equal to 3.8. so 3.8 version we are going to use for this particular project, and after that -y, so it means yes that we are going to create a new environment for this particular project. Okay, now after creation of the environment, then we can activate our environment. So conda activate -e. So this is the environment activation environment command that we have, and then what we are going to do, so we are going to create a requirement.txt. So let me create a requirements.txt. So requirement.txt that we are going to create, and here that we can mention some of the requirements based upon our projects, and then we can do the complete installation. Okay, so here as you can see, first of all we are going to create the new environment. Meanwhile, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a complete folder structure for this particular project. So let me create the folder structure. So first what I'm going to do, here I'm going to create the src folder. Now in this particular src folder, I'm going to create a multiple folder. So let me create a multiple folder in this particular src folder. So first folder that I'm going to create, components. Now second, now next folder that I'm going to create in this particular folder called exception. Now let's create the next folder called logger. So not in this particular, I need to create another exception src folder. So logger. Okay, so 3 folders that we need under the src. Now next what I'm going to do, so next I'm going to create here templates folder, templates, and under the templates we can create our complete HTML file like index.html or whatever the HTML file that we need to create a complete web application. Okay, apart from this one, I need some more file. So let me create here app.py file, okay, as well as let me create one main.py file. So main.py file. After that I will create some more files. So as you can see here, execution going on. So let's wait some time. Now here as you can see, we are able to create our new environment, and the same environment name, whatever the environment name that I mentioned, venv, same environment name folder we have here. Now what we are going to do, so we are going to activate our environment. So we have a command here, conda activate. So conda activate venv slash. So whatever the command that we have, so let me copy and paste. So here that I mentioned the wrong command, let me copy and paste here and let me replace. Okay, now let's say if you are using a Linux system, in this case that you can write a command source activate venv. Okay, so this is the command that we have for Linux system. Okay, now what we can do, so here under the requirement.txt, next command that we have to install our all the requirements. But right now, as we all know, we did not have any types of the requirement. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to add some of the requirement. So first requirement, I'm going to add a Flask. Second, NumPy. Okay, because we need to do the some mathematical calculation for our faces. Okay, so that we can do the encoding. And apart from this one, I'm going to import OpenCV/Python. Okay, so these 3 library that we are going to install right now. Later part, if required, we can install some other library as well. Now let me install our all the requirements. So pip install -r requirements.txt. This is the command that I'm going to run. Okay, now let's start with our logger, exception, and then we can write a code under the our component folder. Okay, so we have a spelling mismatch, so let me check it out. So components. Okay, now let's start with the logger file. So first of all, under the logger file, what I'm going to do, so first of all I'm going to create one of the file called __init__.py file. So okay, so we need to create the file first of all. So let me create __init__.py file. So this is the file that we are going to create under our logger file. Same, we are going to create one more file under our exception. So __init__.py file. Okay, so 2 files we are going to create under the exception as well as under the logger file. Components file we can create a later, okay, whenever we can write a code. Okay, so now let's start with the logger file. So what we are going to do in a logger file, okay, so here as you can see the installation is going on. So let me go below here. Okay, and now let's start writing a code under our logger file first of all. Okay, so what we are going to do, let me zoom it little bit. So first of all, we are going to import our all the important library, but before this one, let's try to understand Why logger file is important? So the logger file is important because let's say if we are writing, if we are building any types of the projects, and in our project that we have 400, 500, thousands lines of the code that we have. Okay, depends upon our projects. And if in between we are getting some of the error, so it will be good that we can define a logger, we can define an exception, so that whatever the error that we will get, we can store over our logs directly, so that easily we can debug. Because whenever we are writing a thousands lines of the code, it's a very difficult to debug our entire code. It's a very difficult to check it out our complete code to debug our error. Okay, so that's why we are going to create a logger file, and under the logger file that we can define our complete logger. Okay, so in which format that we want a logger, and with the help of exception that we can store our complete logs under our logs directory, and whatever the error and whatever the bugs that we will get in our project during the execution, we can store over the log directory, and then easily that we can debug with the help of our logs directory. So that's why we need our logger file. Now as you can see here, we got some of the errors, so let me check it out first, this one. So the error wise here, downloading the OpenCV Python. Okay, so in a OpenCV that I got the error, but what I can do, let me rerun again this particular file, pip install -r requirement.txt, else that we can install later. Okay, if I face the same issue, this is the timeout issue that I have, but this is fine. Let's check. If it's work, then fine, else that we can try later. Okay, so now look like it's working. Okay, so now let me jump into our logger file. So yes, this is the logger file that we have. Now let's start the implementation. So first of all, what we are going to do, so we are going to import our all the important library. So here we are going to import our all the important library called logging OS, and from the date time we are going to import a date time library. Okay, now we are going to create a function so that whenever we execute our project, we will get a logs with the current timestamp. Let's say right now that I'm going to execute my project, and the right now timing that we have 8:30. Okay, and this time that I got my complete execution without any error. Now after some time again that I'm going to execute, so let's say 9 PM that I'm going to execute my project. Now this time I saw some of the error, or I get some of the error. Okay, so in this case what we can do, so after some time, let's say the 9 PM that I got the error, but this time I have some other work, so that's why I'm not going to check this particular error. So again I come up in I can say the 9:30, or yeah, 9:30 that I come up, and then I need to debug my code. Again this time I need to check, okay, so whatever the error that I got in a 9 PM, okay, I need to check this particular error only, because again after some time, let's say in a 9, I can write in this way, so 0.095, and let me change this particular complete command, so 0, okay, so in between 0.95 I can write 0.95, then I can write in this way, so 9:10, then 9:15, 9:20, as well as in a 9:25 that I have executed my project in a different pipeline, okay. So this time I did not receive the error, but whenever I execute this particular pipeline, everywhere that we have the different pipeline. Okay, so I need to debug this particular error, and I come up in 9:30. So what I can do, I can skip this particular log file, and I can check this particular file only, a 9 PM file. Okay, so that's why we need a file, one function, so that whenever we execute and whenever we run our file, our projects based upon the current timestamp, then we will get our complete error. Okay, so that's why we are going to create a function. So let me define a function. So define a function to get the current timestamp. Here we are going to return a datetime.now. So datetime.now, it will return the current time, whatever the current time that we have whenever we are going to execute our project. And strip time, so year, month, date, hour, minute and second. So in this way that we want our complete logger. Okay, so that's why these are the complete timing that we want: year, month, date, hour, minute and second. Okay, so this is the return statement that we are going to pass, and with the help of this particular function we will get our complete current timestamp. Okay, now what I'm going to do, so I'm going to create a directory. So here we are going to create a variable called log directory, and we are going to define our directory name called log. Okay, now we are going to create the next function, and the next function that we have defined a function to get the log file. So based upon the current timestamp, so whatever the current timestamp that we have, so based upon the current timestamp dot log, that we are going to create a extension. So let's say whatever the timing that we have, so in this way that we can store our complete log. So let's say 2023. After that month, so month that we can write 11, then date, so date we can write 7th of November, and after that hour, minute and second, so hour, minute and second dot log. So in this way that we are going to create our complete directory. So that's why we are going to assign a extension called log here, dot log. Okay, so this particular function, it will help us to create a log file with the log dot log extension. Okay, now after that we are going to create a variable called log file name. So this is the log file name variable that we have, and we are going to call our get log file name function. Okay, now right now as you can see, we did not have a log directory. We have created a log directory, but we did not have. So in this case, what we can do, we can call os.makeDirectory function, and with the help of os.makeDirectory function, whenever we execute our project first time, our log directory, it will get created. So let me define here. So here we are going to define os.makeDirectory. Here we are going to call our directory variable exit okay equal to true. It means, let's say we have this particular folder. In this case, try to skip this particular part. Okay, because whenever we are going to execute multiple times our project, so definitely we will get the folder called log. So in this case, that we can skip our logs directory creation file. Okay, so that's why here we are going to call exit okay equal to true. Now next we are going to join our complete path. Which one? Our log directory with our log file, so that under the log directory we can store our dot log file. Okay, so here we are going to join our complete path log underscore file underscore path equal to os.path.join. Here we are going to call the log directory and the log file name, so that we can join our log directory, and under the log directory that we can create a log files. Okay, now we are going to call the base config, and with the help of the base config, then we can create our complete log. So let me define our complete base config. So here we are going to define our base config. So logging dot base config, we are going to call the file name. So file name that we have the log file path, file mode. So we are going to write something under our log directory. Now format that we are going to define ASCII time, a label name. So again that we have the different types of the label. So the label that we are going to call the information label we are going to call. 9 line number, file name, function and the message. So these are the complete format that we are going to pass. Okay, now if I show you the documentation for logging, so as you can see, this is the Python logger documentation that we have, and this is the format that we are getting, a format ASCII time, client IP. So let's say whenever we are going to execute a project in ABC system, let's say my system or in your system, in this case if we want to store the client IP, in this case that we can store a client IP as well, a username as well as whatever the message that we are getting. Okay, so those things that we can store. So same format that we have here, some different way. So ASCII timing, a label name, a line number. So okay, so in which line number we are getting the error, in which file we are getting the error, because under the src, under the components folder, the later part, we can create a multiple folders, a multiple files that we can create. So that's why here we are going to call the line number as well as a file name. Okay, so in which file we have our error, and in every file we can write 200, 300, depends upon our projects, lines of the code, right? So that's why we are going to call the line numbers. Okay, so in which line that we have the error, and in which file we have the error, as well as in which function we have the error. So we are going to call the function as well, and as well as a message. Okay, so whatever the error message that we will get, and here that we are going to call the label is equal to logging.info. So as I mentioned, we have the different level. So if I show you over the documentation again, so here we have a different logging level. So the numeric value of the logging level are given in the following table. So these are the primary of the interest. If you want to define your own level, so even in this case that we can define our custom level as well. But as you can see right now that we are going to define a logging.info, where that we have the numeric value called 20 and the confirmation that things are working as expected. Again that we have the warning, so an indication that something unexpected happened. Again error, so due to the more serious problem, the software has not been able to perform some of the functions. So different level that we have. Right now we are going to call this particular logging.info function, where we have a description, means confirmation that things are working as expected. Okay, so depends upon our requirement. Let's say that we are going to return the warning, in this case that we can call logging.warning. Let's say if we are going to return the error, in this case that we can call a logging.error. Okay, so based upon our requirement that we can define a different level. So this is the level that we are going to return, so logging.info. Okay, so this is all about our complete logging file. Now what we are going to do, so now we are going to test our logging file. Okay, so to test our logging file, what I'm going to do, so here I'm going to create one more file called logs.py file. Now in this particular logs.py file, first of all let's try to import a Flask. So from Flask we are going to import our Flask. Okay, so Flask. After that, from our src file, from our logger file, we are going to import our logging, this particular logging that we are going to import under our logs.py file. So let me import from src.logger, and from here I am going to import our logging. Okay, now after that we are going to create a Flask object. So app equal to Flask underscore name underscore. So this is the object that we are going to create, a Flask object. Now let's try to define a route. So app dot route, and here that we are going to define, okay, so I want to run our application in this particular slash. So slash, it means let's say that we are going to write something like /Shivan. In this case that we can access our application over localhost, by default port number that we have the 5000. So let me define the 5000 /Shivan. Okay, so I want to access my complete application over the slash only. So if I write a slash only, in this case that we can access our complete application over the localhost colon 5000 port number. Okay, so that's why we are going to write a slash only. Now what I'm going to do next that we can define the methods. So methods in this way that we can write, let me remove this is the wrong code that we have. So methods equal to, here we are going to call the two types of the method. The first method that we are going to call get, as well as a post method we are going to define. Okay, so get as well as a post request that we can send. Now let me define a function. So define our index function, and after that we are going to write here logging. So logging.info, and in this particular logging that we are going to return something like we are testing our logging file. So this is the return statement that we are going to call for logging. Now we can add a return statement. So return, and the return statement that we can add, okay, so fish direction project implementation. Okay, implementation. Now after that we can add a entry point. So if underscore name underscore equal to underscore main. So with the help of this particular entry point that we can run our Flask application. So let me write app.run. So this particular app.run, so this is the variable that we are going to call our object, and with the help of app.run we are going to execute our logs.py file. And now here we are going to write a debug equal to true. It means the by default port number that we have of 5000. Even that we can define a port number, we can define a host, so those things that we can call, but the by default, as we are going to call here debug equal to true, it means a by default port number that we have of 5000. Okay, now what I'm going to do, let me open my terminal. So this is the terminal that we have, and let me check it out the installation. So okay, so pip dependency resolver. So yeah, we are able to install our OpenCV. Now what I'm going to do, so first of all I'm going to clear my screen. Now I'm going to run our logs.py file to test our logger file. So python logs.py, let me press the enter button, and let's wait a few seconds. If we will get any types of the error, in this case we will try to resolve our issues, whatever the issues or whatever the bug that we will get. So it will take a few seconds to do the complete execution. So just wait a second. Now as you can see here, we are getting the logs directory, whatever the log directory that I have mentioned in this particular logger.py file. So as you can see here that we are getting a logs directory, this particular logs directory that we are getting. Right now, as you can see in this particular logs directory, we did not have anything. A restarting with the start, okay, and the warning that we have. So this is the development server, do not use in the production deployment. So this is the warning, and this is the complete link that we are getting, and with the help of this particular link we can access our application. Again, if I check the second file, so again in a second file we did not have anything. So whenever we run this particular running file, then we will get our complete information, whatever the logging information that we are going to capture. Logging.info, we are testing our logging file. So now what I am going to do, let me open my browser. Now this is the link, and let's go. So here, as you can see, face detection project implementation, whatever the return statement that we have here, a face detection project implementation. So same return statement that we are able to get in our user interface, okay, or we can say in our Chrome. Now let me verify our logger. So this is the log file that we have, and in this particular log file, as you can see here, that we are getting our complete output called we are testing our logging file. So whatever the logs that we want to capture, as you can see here, the same logs that we have and the same logs that we are able to capture under our logs directory. Okay, so in this way, if we are working on a big projects and in between we want to define a log, so we can define the log so that whatever the execution that we are going to perform, or in between our file, whatever the error we will get, we can store over the log file, and easily that we can debug our complete code. Okay, so yes, this is all about our logger file. Okay, now what we are going to do, so now we are going to do the implementation for our exception file. So what I can do, let me close all the logger file from here. Okay, now after that, let me close the app file, main.py file, and now let me jump into our exception file. So this is the exception folder that we have, and under the exception folder we have our init __.py file. Okay, so let's try to write a complete code under this particular exception file, okay, so that we can store our exception as well, error exceptions, whatever the error that we will get in our file with the help of exception and the logger. Okay, so let's first of all try to import our important library. So here we are going to import os, sys. So these two library that we need to do the complete implementation for our exception file. Now what I'm going to do, so let me do in this case so that we can write a complete code. So here we are going to create a function, a class we are going to create first of all, a face detection exception class. So let me create the class. So this is the class that we are going to create, a class face detection class, where we are going to pass an argument called exception. After that, we are going to create a complete constructor. So define __init. We are going to pass a by default parameter called self, and apart from the self parameter, we are going to pass a two more argument here, error message called exception and error details called sys. So this is the two argument that we are going to pass. After that, we are going to define a super class. So super __init, and here we are going to pass argument called error message. Okay, now after that we are going to call the error message. So self.error message face detection class. So this is the face detection exception class that we are going to call, and this is the function that we need to create get detail error message. Why? Because based upon this particular function we can store our complete error, whatever the error that we will get in our project. So let me define this particular function first of all. So here we are going to define our complete function. So let me define, then we can understand this particular code. So here, okay, so little bit mistake that I have did. Okay, now this is the complete function that we have. So here we are going to define a function to get the complete error details, and we are going to pass a two argument called error message as well as a error detail, whatever the argument that we have here. So same argument we are going to call. So this particular function, it will take a two argument, error message as well as a error detail. So error message we are going to point it out for exception, and error details for sys, and this particular function, it will return a string, in a string that we will get our complete error. Okay, so this particular function, it will return a string output. Okay, now after that, this is the comment that I have mentioned. So error message, so exception object, and the error details for object of our sys model. Okay, now here we are going to define a __ exception tb. So let's first of all try to understand this particular lines of the code, because this is the very important line that we have. Okay, so let's say that we have a three variable called a, v, c equal to, we have a output called A equal to 1, B equal to 2 and the C equal to 3. So this is the complete output that we have. Now from here we want to access only the C output, whatever the C variable output that we have called 3. I want to access only the C variable output. In this case that we can write underscore, it means the empty that we are going to define. So empty first value, second value, and the only I want to access the C. Okay, so same thing that we are going to do. So here we want our execution underscore a try block. TB, it means a try block. Okay, so execution start from the try block. So this is the information that I want only. So that's why I did not want the first and the second information. So that's why here I'm going to call the empty one. Okay, now execution start from the TB. So execution start from the try block. After that we are going to call the error details dot exception information. So whatever the exception information, because whenever we are writing the try and except block function in this way that we are writing. So let me add first of all the multi-line comment. Okay, and after that in the multi-line of the comment then I will show you. So first that we are writing a try. After that let me write right now a pass here. Okay, so pass that we will get in the next line. Okay, now after that we can write our complete exception block code. So let me write it down, our exception block code here. So except exception as E, and after that we can raise a exception. So raise a custom exception. So whatever the class that we have, so class name that we have face detection exception. So raise a face detection exception, and here that we can define E comma sys. So E it means the error details and sys it means the error message. So E it means error details. Okay, so E it means the error message and sys it means the error details. Okay, now here whenever we execute our project, so again here that we have the multiple lines of the code. So 1 2 3 4 5 multiple lines of the code that we have, right? So whenever here we are going to start execution from the try block. So we can start the execution from here equal to error details. So we are going to call this one error details E. Okay, so error details E, and after that execution information. So whatever the exception execution information that we have, whatever the execution information that we have, the complete exception execution information that we are going to call. Now exception try block line number. So here we are going to define a variable called exception try block line number. Execution start from the try block. So from here we are going to start the execution dot tv dot frame. So frame by frame we are going to start the execution dot f underscore line number. It means the line by line, a file number line by line we are going to start the execution. Now try block line number. So execution start from the try block and the try block line number. So line by line that we are going to do the execution for our try block. Okay, now after that file name variable that we have, file name equal to execution start from the try block, a try block frame by frame, a code by code, as well as a co-file name. Co-file name it means we have a multiple files in this particular project. So if I show you, so under the SRC we have the multiple folders, and under the multiple folders again the going forward we can create the multiple files. So that's why here we are going to call a co-file name. It means the file by file that we are going to do the execution with the try block to till our exception block. Then error message that we are going to call. So error message equal to f string, a error occurred in our script. So in this case this is the message that we have at file name. So first of all that we want error file name, then try block line number. So the try block line number that we will get the error. Okay, so in a line number 4 we have our error. Okay, and the exception line number block. So in after that we will call our exception line number block. So this particular 40, in our 40 line we have our exception, and then error message that we are getting here. So the error message, whatever the error message that we will get. Okay, so we have the none type error or the module error or the installation error. So those things that we will get. Okay, and after that we are going to return our error message variable, this particular error message variable that we are going to call. Okay, so in this way that we can define our complete function get detail error message, where we are going to pass a 2 argument, first error message and second error details, and with the help of these 2 argument that we are going to create our complete exception, where we are going to capture the information for our file name. Okay, so in which file we have the error, second information that we are going to call. Okay, so in a try block in which line number that we have the error, a exception block line number, as well as a message, whatever the error message that we will get. and at the end that we are going to return our error message. Okay, so the none type error or the installation error or the module error, this is the error that we have. So the same message that we are going to return here. Okay, now after that, next what we are going to do, so next that we can define a string function so that we will get our complete error. So let me find it out here. So let me define a string. So define a string underscore self, and we are going to return our complete error message. Okay, now what I'm going to do, so next here let me create one more file. So okay, so here we have the multiple log file that we are able to create. So now what I'm going to do, so I'm going to delete this particular log file from here. Okay, so delete permanently. So to delete the recycle mean, do you want permanently delete? So delete permanently. Okay, now what I'm going to do, so now it's time to test our, okay, so bg, so what I can do, let me retrieve, fine. Now we have our exception file. Okay, so let me cancel it. So we have our exception file. Now what I'm going to do here, so I'm going to create one more file called our exception.py file, so that we can define our complete exception based upon the log file. Okay, so even I can do the modification in this particular file as well, but because I want to provide you the complete code, so that's why I'm not going to do the modification in this particular file. So it will be good, I can create the new file. Okay, so that we will get the complete code. So let me create here exception.py. Now in this particular exception.py file, what we are going to do, so again that we are going to copy and paste the same code, and then I will do the modification in this particular code. So let me copy, let me paste here. Okay, so here we have a logger. Now let me import our exception as well. So from src dot exception, and from the exception we are going to import our class called face detection exception. So this particular class that we are going to, okay, so we have this particular logger file under the this one. Okay, so I did not want this particular file here, I want under the main project directory. So let me create the new file again here, exception.py file. Okay, now let me copy this particular complete code from here, let me paste under our exception.py file. Now let me go back under our src under the exception, because I want my class name. So this is the class name that we have, a face detection exception. Let me import here first of all. So from src dot exception, and then we are going to import our face detection exception file. Okay, so I have exception, not a exception, so I need to remove the s from here. Okay, now we are able to call our this particular class. Okay, now what we are going to do, so now we have our complete object here. So this is the Flask object that we have. Now we are going to do the modification in our index function. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to call first of all a try block. So let me call a try, let me write a pass right now, later part that we can complete this particular code. Now I'm going to call the exception. So accept exception as e. Okay, so accepts exception as e. Okay, so I need to, this is the incorrect spelling, so accept exception as e. Now we are going to write a variable called test equal to our class name face detection class, and here that we can define error message as well as a error details, so e comma sys. Okay, so we want to import our sys library, so let me import sys. Okay, so here we are going to call error message as well as error detail in a test variable. Now here we are going to call the range exception. So range exception, so okay, so range exception that we need to write here. So range exception, and in this particular exception that we are going to write some message called, let's say we are testing our custom exception file. So this is the message that we are going to raise a error. Okay, so in a line number 5, line number 15, we are going to raise a exception, we are testing our custom exception file. Okay, now in a except block that we can write a variable called test, where we are going to write a face detection exception class, and after that here I am going to call my logger. So logging.info, and in this particular logging.info that I am going to call test, this is the variable name, so test dot, okay, so in this case that we can write, so we did not define this particular codes, so test dot error message, so test dot error message that we are going to call, and this particular logging that we can define in the next line as well as our return statement that we can define in the next line. Okay, so this is the complete code that we have for our exception. Now what I'm going to do, let me open my terminal again so that we can test our exception file. So this is the terminal that I have. Let me close this particular code from here. Here I'm going to clean my screen. Now let me run our exception.py file. So Python exception.py. Let me press the enter button. Now here you can see debugging mode. Now let me check our last log. So here that we have our last log. Here we are getting the debug mode active, and if I show you the above one, so here we are getting our complete link. So let me open this particular link. So let me copy, let me go over my Chrome, and here that I'm going to paste. Okay, let me hit enter. Now same output. Okay, so if I show, okay, so let me change the output so that you will get the idea, because I have mentioned the same output. So here that we have the return statement. So face detection project implementation for exception. Okay, so I need to rerun my file again. So let me clear the screen. Let me go ahead and Python exception.py file. Now we are getting again a link. So let me go here. Okay, so this particular file. Now again I'm going to copy this particular link from here. Even that we can access a local host. In this way that we can access a local host :5000. Let me press the enter button. Now you can see this is the output that we are getting. So face detection project implementation for exception. Okay, now let me go back and let me check it out our logger file. So this is the logger file that we have, and in this particular logger file, as you can see, this is the message that we are getting. So meanwhile what I can do, yeah, this is the our src file that we have. Okay, so let's compare our, here as you can see we are going to write error occurred in our script. Let's verify with our logger. So error occurred in our script, and this is the complete file name that we are getting. So if I show you again, so yes, file name, first of all that we need a file name. So this is the complete file name information that we are getting, exception.py file. Okay, this is the complete path that we have. Next we have our try block line number. So in a try block, whatever the line number error that we have, so same information that we are getting. So try block line number 15, that we have the issue. So let's verify our exception.py file. So yes, we are going to raise an exception for our line number 15. This is the line number 15 that we have, and we are going to raise the exception here. Okay, now after that we have our exception block. So and exception block line number 18. So let's verify our exception block. So exception block that we have the line number 18. So this is the exception block that we are going to call. So again the same way, whatever the information that I have mentioned, so try block line number and the exception block line number. So same exception block line number that we are able to get here, a line number 18, and whatever the error message that we have. So if I show you the last one again, so last that we have the error message. Now error message that we have, we are testing our custom exception file. Same error we are getting here. So if I show you here, so yes, we are testing our custom exception file. So in this way that we can capture our complete information whenever we will get any types of the issue. We can define a logger in our file with the help of try and except block, so that we can capture a complete information over our logs directory, and with the help of the log directory that we can debug our complete code. So as you can see here, we are getting our complete, in a logger file we are getting the complete error message. With the help of this particular error message, easily that we can debug our exception.py file line number 15 and the exception block line number 18. So whenever we implement a projects in a industry, we create a multiple folders, we create a multiple files, and in every files we write 1000, 2000, 3000 lines of the code. So in this way it's a very difficult task to debug all the files, all the line by line a complete code. So it will be good with the help of logger and exception, we can store a complete bugs information or the error information under our logs directory, so that easily we can debug our issues. Okay, so yes, this is all about our exception, guys. Now what we can do, now we can do the implementation for our face detection projects. Okay, so now we can start our implementation for our face detection project. So first of all, let's try to create a file under our main project directory. So src, under our components folder, we are going to create a two file. First we are going to do the detection with the images, and after that we can detect with the webcam. Okay, so let's try to create a two file here. So face underscore detect underscore image dot py. Second file we are going to create here a face underscore detect underscore webcam dot py file. Okay, now what I'm going to do, so first of all let's try to write a complete code one by one. So first that we are going to start with our face underscore detect underscore image dot py file. So here first of all I'm going to import our all the important library. So import cv2, we are going to use a OpenCV library, OS as well as a sys library we are going to import here. Okay, now next we can import a logger as well as we can import a exception. So from our exception file we can import our face detection exception class. So let me import here from src dot exception, and from the exception file we are going to import face detection. So here that we can write exception. Okay, now next from src dot logger, and here we are going to import logging. So logging, that we are going to import logging module from our logger file. Okay, now let's try to create a class. So class we are going to create, so class face detection with images. Okay, so here we are going to create a class so that we can detect the faces for whatever the images that we have. Now let's try to create a complete constructor. So define underscore underscore init underscore underscore, where we are going to pass argument called first a by default argument that we have a self. Now second argument that we can pass here a image path. So let me pass here image underscore path. So this is the second argument that we are going to pass, and this particular image path takes as a parameter whatever the images that we are going to use to do a face detection. Okay, now after that we can call here a self dot image path equal to image path. So this particular argument that we are going to define. So this particular line self dot image underscore path equal to image path, this will store the image path parameter as an variable so that we can access our face detection image class. Okay, now what we are going to do, so next step that we can define our function to display the images. So let me define, so define a function to display image, and here we are going to pass argument called self argument. So this particular function, it will help us to display the images. Okay, whatever the images that we are going to use to do the face detection. Okay, now after that what we are going to do, so we can call the complete try and except block, and with the help of try and except block we can store whatever the error or the issues that we will get under our logs directory. So let me define our try block. So try, here I'm going to write a pass right now, except exception as e, where we are going to raise a face detection exception, and here that we can call e comma sys. So error comma error details. So both the arguments we are going to pass here. Okay, now after that we are going to create a object. So let me create a complete object. So here we are going to define a variable called face cascade equal to, we can call a cv2 library. So cv2, and in a cv2 we have a module called cascade. So cv2 dot cascade classifier. So cascade classifier that we are going to call, and with the help of the cascade classifier we are going to load our hardcase front face model. So how that we can download this particular model, so we can go over the browser, and here that we can write hard cascade frontal face underscore default dot xml and download. Okay, then we can press the enter button. After that we will get our first link. So this is the link that we will get via the GitHub that we can download. Let me check it out here. So here as you can see we have the OpenCV repository, and over the OpenCV repository we have folder called data, and under the data folder we have the hard cascade folder, and here we have our complete hard cascade front face default.xml file. If I click here, under the view raw. So I hope that I will get the complete information. Okay, so yes, as you can see, this is the complete information that we are getting. So import the read before the downloading, copyright and installing using this one. So this is the model that we are going to use, our har cascade frontal face default.xml. so directly what we can do, so here we will get the download option. So with the help of this particular download option, that we can download this particular file. So as you can see here that I'm able to download this particular file. Apart from this one, here that we have the many other models that we have. Okay, so depends upon our project. Let's say here that we are working on a face detection project. So that's why we are going to download this particular har cascade front facial underscore default.xml file. If you are working on some other projects, so in this case that based upon your projects and based upon your requirements, that you can download a model from here. Okay, so right now we are going to use har cascade frontal face underscore default.xml model from the our OpenCV. Okay, so even you can just check it out, this particular link, and depends upon your requirement you can download. So we are going to download this particular file. Now I have this particular XML file in my download folder. So later part that I can import here, but let me write it down right now, our model. So let me write it down the same model name. So let me copy and paste from the Chrome. So this is the model that we have. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy and paste this particular same model under this particular har cascade classifier. Okay, so here we are going to create object. Now what I can do, whatever the XML file that I have in my downloaded repository, a later part I can copy and paste in my main project directory. So in this particular main project directory that we can copy and paste. Okay, so here we are going to create first of all an object for our cascade classifier. Okay, so first that we are going to create a complete object so that we can detect the frontal face, and with the help of this particular object that we can detect frontal face for whatever the images that we are going to use. So this is the pre-trained XML file that we have, a pre-trained XML file that we have for a face detection. So let me write it down a comment here. So pre-trained model, pre-trained XML model for face detection. Okay, now what we are going to do next, after that we are able to define our model here. Now what we are going to do, so now we are going to read our model. Okay, so we are going to read our model. So let me define image equal to cv2 dot, I'm going to use imRead function. So imRead, with the help of imRead function we can read our whatever the images that we are going to pass. So self dot image path. So we are going to read our images, whatever the images that we are going to define here. Okay, so with the help of this particular line that we can read our image. Now what we are going to do, so now we are going to resize our complete image. So let me define let me resize our complete image. So here we can define a variable called, let me define a variable here, resize underscore image. This is the variable that we are going to create. So resize underscore image equal to cv2 dot resize, and we are going to call our images here. So this particular whatever the images that we are able to read here, same image that we can define here. So image comma we can convert into the integer, so int integer that we are going to convert, and image dot shape we are going to define into the 1 into 2, and second that we can define integer again, so integer, and this time that we are going to read 0th the first into 2. Okay, now here we are going to resize our images. So this particular line mainly resize the images, and then whatever the original image that we have, so based upon the original image that we are going to resize our complete images in this particular format. So after resizing that we will get a complete numpy array in this particular format. So we will get our complete resize of 426 into 500. Okay, so this is the complete resize image that we are getting, whatever the image that we have. So for the original image that we are going to resize, so that let's say if we are going to upload a multiple image to do the detection, so all the image size that we have a different size that we have. So that's why here we are going to apply a resize operation so that we can convert all the different images size into the same size. Okay, so that's why here we are going to resize our images. Now what we are going to do, now that we can convert our images into the grayscale image, because whenever we are going to do the detection, always that we can do the detection over the grayscale image. Okay, so here let me define a variable called gray image equal to, we can again write, we can write our cv2. So cv2 dot here that we can call our function called like, as we are able to here that we are going to resize our images, right? So in a resize image, what we can do, so first that we can define cv2 dot cvt color. So cvt color, and here we are going to pass our this particular image. So this particular image that we can pass here images dot, so image, whatever the image that we have, this particular original image that we are going to call, so image, and after that we can call a cv2 dot color. So we are going to convert into the BGR to gray. Okay, so whatever the BGR image that we have, we are going to convert into the gray format. Okay, so now, so this particular line, it will convert our color image into the grayscale image. So we are going to convert here, convert color image into the grayscale image. Okay, so here we are going to convert our complete color image into the grayscale image. Now what we can do, now we can search the coordinate for our images. As we have seen in our images, like we need to calculate the complete coordinate for our images, right? So here now we are going to search a complete coordinate for our images. So let me define a faces equal to, here we are going to call this particular variable a face cascade variable dot, we have one function called detect multiple scale. So detect multiple, and after that we can call scale. So detect a multiple scale, here we are going to define our grayscale image, so gray image, and after that we can define a scale factor as well. So scale factor equal to, that we can define 1.05. so this is the random value that we have, so 1.05, and after that we can define our minimum size. Okay, so after which point that we want to calculate our next coordinate, so mean, and here I am going to call the neighbors equal to 5. So if I open my paint, so let me show you in our paint. So what we are going to do, so first of all that we are going to convert our images, our colored images into the grayscale image. Okay, now after converting our images into the grayscale image, then we are going to detect, or we are going to calculate a coordinate here. So let's say here this is the person images that we have, and in this particular person image this is the mouth that we have, and after that this is the eye that we have here. Okay, and here that we have the nose. Okay, so what we are going to do, so in every steps all the coordinate that we are going to calculate, so that's why here that I have set a mean 9 hours equal to 5. Okay, so the minimum value that I am going to set the 5, and in every 5 interval that we are going to calculate, or that we are going to search the coordinate. Okay, so that based upon this particular coordinate that we can search the person. Okay, now after that what I'm going to do, so next that we can calculate our complete height, we can calculate the width, we can calculate the complete height as well as a width. Okay, as well as a top corner of this particular image, so top corner for this particular images, as well as a below corner, as well as height and the width for this particular image. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write a complete for loop here. So let me write for x, y and w, h. X and y are the coordinates that we have for top left corner of the face, and w and h are the width and height that we have for our faces bounding box. Okay, so x and y are the coordinate that we have for left and the right corner of the faces, and w and h are the width and height that we have for our faces bounding box. Okay, then we can write in faces, so whatever the faces variable that we have, so from this particular faces that we are going to calculate x and y as well as w and h, so left and the right corner, height and width for our faces bounding box, equal to, here that we are going to create a variable called image equal to cv2 dot rectangle. So in a rectangle format that we are going to calculate. So rectangle, and after that we are going to pass here image. So our original image that we are going to pass here, that we can define our x and y. So x and y, and second that we can add our x plus w. So x that we have a top corner, and then we have w called our width. Second that we can add y plus h, so left right. So x that we have a top, after that we have a left, top and left, x and y, then we have a height and width. So we are going to do the addition here. Okay, now after that we are going to define a value called into the 0 255 comma 0. Okay, and add that we have the 3 channel, so we are going to pass a 3. So RGB, red, blue and green. Okay, so this is the complete for loop that we are going to pass here, and with the help of this particular coordinate, first of all that we are going to iterate over our faces. So whatever the images that we are going to load here, so this particular images that we are going to load to detect the faces. So first of all that we are going to iterate over the faces where we have x coordinate and the y coordinate for the top as well as a left corner of the faces, and we have a w and h. So width and the height for our faces, for our bounding boxes. So whatever the faces we have, so for the faces we are going to calculate width and height of bounding boxes. Okay, now after that what I'm going to do, so next that we are going to define here our complete variable, a cv2 variable that we are going to call. So let me call, so that we can show the images. So here let me define. So first cv2 dot show, so we have the function called show, and in a show that we are going to write like the people. This is the one of the message that we are going to write, and after that our data that we are going to pass, so images. Okay, so this particular function it will show the images. Okay, so whatever the images that we have, so in our images it will show the our. Okay, so we need to call the im show function, not a show, im show. Okay, so with the help of im show function that we can show our images, and here that we are going to call the name called people images. Okay, now here we are going to call a wait key. So cv2 dot a wait key, and this particular wait key, and here we are going to define a 0. So this particular wait key wait our complete application until that we can press our users, or we can press any key. So whenever we press our key, then our complete application it will get closed. So that's why we are going to pass here a wait key. So until wait user press the key, and after that we can write here a cv2 dot destroy. So whenever we are going to call this particular destroy all windows function, so whenever as a user we can press any types of the key in our windows or in our keyboard, our application automatically it will get closed. Okay, so yes, this is our complete function that we have, and with the help of this particular function, first we are going to load our model. So pre-trained XML model that we are going to load for the face detection. After that we are going to read our images. After reading our images, then we are going to resize our images. So here we are going to resize our complete images, so that if we are going to upload a multiple images to do the face detection, about all the images it will get converted into the same size. So that's why we are going to resize. Then we are going to convert our colored images into the grayscale. Then we are going to detect the bounding boxes for our all the images, a coordinate that we are going to calculate, and based upon the coordinate here that we are going to calculate a complete x, y, like top and left corner of the faces, w and h, width and height of the faces for the bounding boxes. Okay, then we are going to show the images and wait key and the destroy key until that we can press any button, our application it will get visible, and whenever we press any types of the keyboard button, our application it will get destroyed. Okay, so yes, this is all about our face detect images. Okay, now we can start with our face detect with our web camera. Okay, now let me open our face detect underscore webcam.py file, and let me write a complete code in this particular file. So what we are going to do, first of all we are going to import a library. So let me go over our previous file, and from here that I'm going to copy and paste our complete library. Okay, now we are going to create a class. So let's create a class. So class face direction webcam, because we are going to do the direction with webcam. So let me create here a webcam. After that we are going to define a complete constructor here. So not a constructor, let's try to create a function directly without a constructor. Okay, so let me define a function. So define a function to load a camera. Okay, because we are going to do the direction with the camera here. So camera, and we are going to pass argument called self argument we are going to pass here. Now let me write a complete try and except block. So try, pass, except, exception, except, exception as E, where we are going to raise a face direction, exception, E comma sys. So error message and error details. Now let's try to write a complete code in this particular try block. So first of all, same, we are going to define our model. So let me go here, and from here that we are going to copy and paste this particular complete code. So let me go and copy and paste in this particular complete code. So we are going to define our pre-trained XML model for our face direction. Now we are going to define a variable called video underscore capture equal to, we can call a CV2, and with the help of CV2 library we can capture our complete person with the video. Okay, so here I am going to define CV2 dot video capture. We have a function called video capture in OpenCV library, and here we are going to define a 0. So this particular line, mainly a webcam camera, we are going to create a video capture object, okay, with the help of video capture, and this particular argument 0, this indicates that the default camera, whatever the default camera that we have in our system. Okay, so with the help of our default camera that we are going to capture the person. Let's say here I am going to define 1. It means whatever the secondary camera that we have in my system, it will take a secondary camera. So right now that I am going to define a 0, because I need to do the direction with my primary camera, whatever the by default camera that I have in my system. Okay, so I am going to use a by default camera here. Now after that we are going to write a complete while loop here. So while true, now what we are going to do, so now we are going to capture a person image a frame by frame. Okay, so here we are going to define a variable. So we are going to define a 2 variable here. A first variable that we are going to define a rate, and second variable that we are going to define a frame. So this particular rate variable, this indicates whether a frame was successfully captured or not. So with the help of this particular rate variable, so let me write it down in this way, a rate variable, this particular rate variable, it will define or it will indicate whether the frame was successfully captured or not. Now a frame, so frame, it means that we are going to capture the single frame from the video, and then we are going to store our images in this particular frame. Okay, so we are going to capture the images, and after that we can store in this particular frame. Rate, it means that we are going to initialize, or we are going to indicate whether the frame was successfully captured or not. So let me define here a video capture. So this particular variable that we are going to call a video capture dot read. So we are going to capture the images or whatever the person that we have in a webcam, and then we can store the complete information with the help of frame. So in a frame that we are going to store a complete information, and with the help of rat variable that we are going to indicate whether we are able to capture the complete frame or not. So here at the end that we are going to capture a frame by frame complete images information via the video webcam. Okay, now we are going to read the images as a grayscale. So let's define a variable called gray, a cv2 dot cvt color. So cvt color, and we are going to pass a frame data, whatever the in a frame we have stored our images, right? So we are going to call the frame, and cv2 dot color underscore bgr to grayscale. So whatever the color image that we have, we are going to convert our colored image into the grayscale. Now same, we are going to calculate, or we are going to search the coordinates. So here as you can see, we have created a complete detect variable. Okay, so faces, and here we are going to call the face this particular model, and with the help of that we are going to call the detect multiple scale. So we are going to search the coordinate of the images. So now if I show you the images, so as you can see, this is the images that we have, and in this particular images that we have our complete coordinate for our below part, we have for our upper part, we have for our eyes, both the eyes, we have the nose, and we have our complete mouth. Okay, so for all the complete face images, we have our complete coordinates for our images. Same thing that we are going to do here. So let's calculate here now. So what we are going to do, let me copy and paste the complete code from here, and after that I'm going to paste here. Now face cascade, so our model that we are going to define dot detect multiple scales, and after that here that we can pass our grayscale image, this particular variable that we can pass. So grayscale image that we are going to pass, so let me write it down in this way. Okay, now after that again a scale factor that we are going to define. So this time let's try to define a scale factor, as this is the images that webcam that we have, so we are going to call scale factor equal to 1.1. okay, again a minimum average that we are going to define called 5, and one more thing that we can define here, a mean size. Okay, so let me define a mean size as well. So here that we are going to call the mean size. So here let me define a comma, and with the help of the comma we are going to call the mean size equal to, in a mean size that we are going to define our two coordinates value that we are going to define, a 30 comma 20. So this is the two coordinates value that we are going to define in our mean size. Okay, now we are going to draw the rectangle around the faces. So as this is the images that we have, so for this particular images that we are going to draw the rectangle. Okay, so now let's try to draw the complete rectangle for this one. So what I can do, let me go in our previous file, and from here I'm going to copy this particular complete code from here, a complete for loop. Okay, now in this particular for loop, let me paste first of all. So this is the complete for loop code that we have. So, okay, so here that we can write in a while loop. Okay, so for x comma y, so this is the complete coordinate that we have, our coordinate that we have for top left coordinate x and y, w and h, height as well as width for our faces that we are going to call. Now here we are going to draw the complete rectangle. Okay, and here as we have a 3 channel images, so red, green and blue. Okay, so here with the help of this particular for loop that we are going to draw the rectangle around our faces. So let me write here, draw a rectangle around the faces. Okay, now after that we are going to display the resulting frame video. So cv2 dot, again that I'm going to call ImShow function. So ImShow, and here we are going to call now a video. So video, and after that we can pass a frame variable. Okay, so this is the frame variable that we are going to pass. Now let me define our weight key as well. So if cv2 dot weight key, and here we are going to, if our user plus 1, and that we are going to call the next coordinate. Okay, so let's say if our users they are able to, let me write it down, and not dot. Okay, so if we are our users they are able to press the Q button, in this case that we can break our complete loop. Okay, so that's why we are going to write here if condition. Now what we are going to do, so now next that we can define if our everything, our video capture and the detection, face detection part is completed, in this case that we can destroy our window. So when everything is done, release the capture image. Okay, so now let me write video capture. So video capture dot release, and after that we can destroy. So cv2 dot destroy. So we have a function called destroy all windows. Okay, so if everything is done, in this case that we can release the capture image, and after that if our users they are going to press the Q button, in this case that we can destroy our window. Okay, so yes, this is all about our face detection with webcam. Now what we are going to do, so now it's time to copy and paste our this particular model, as well as here as you can see we have our template file. So this is the templates file that we have, but we did not have anything. So I already have the templates as well as my model. So as you can see, this is the template that we have and the model that we have. So what I'm going to do, first of all I'm going to delete this particular complete templates. So let me delete from here. Okay, now let me go over our folder. So this is the main face detection folder that I have, and in this particular folder I have a model as well as a template file. So let me cut from here, let me go over a main project directory, and then I'm going to paste here. Let me paste. Okay, so now we have our complete model and we have our template file. Let's verify once in our main project directory. So now we have our templates file, we have our har cascade of front face underscore default.xml file. Okay, now if I show you here, so this is the templates file that we have, and here we have our image.html, index.html and webcam.html. Okay, so first that we have our main home page, second we have our image with the help of image that we can do the detection, and third we have our webcam.html file. Okay, now what I'm going to do, so now it's time to create a web application. Okay, so let's try to go over our app.py file. So this is the app.py file that we have. Now we are going to create our complete web application with the Flask, and after that we can create a Streamlit application as well. So both the application we are going to create, Streamlit as well as a Flask based application. So let's try to create first of all a Flask based application. So first of all I'm going to import my all the important library. So let me import our all important library. So we are going to import our all the important library like import sys as well as os, and from the utils that we are going to import a secure file. From the Flask we are going to import a Flask send file, abort, render template, request, URL file, Flask and redirect. From the logger we are going to import a logging. From the exception we are going to import a face detection exception, and from the components, let me check it out a file name is a correct or not. So face underscore, let me copy this particular complete name, look like the spelling mismatch that I have. So from the src we are going to call the components, and from the components we have the face detect. Let me rename this one and let me copy and let me paste here because I need to write the same name. So face detects, and then import, we are going to import the this one, but why that I'm getting the this particular different file. So what I can do, let me write it down in this way if I'm getting this one. So from src dot a components, and from the components that we are going to call a face detects, and then we are going to import our class called face detection image. So this particular class that we are going to import here. So let me import. Now let me copy the complete, and after that I'm going to paste here. Now second class that I have, from here that I have the detection. So let me paste here, and this time that we have the file name called face detection webcam. So from the face detection webcam that we are going to import our face detection class. Okay, now what I'm going to do, so next that we can import one more library called send from the directory. So let me import one more library. So Flask, from the Flask we are going to import a send from the directory. Now we are going to create our complete object. So Flask object we are going to create here, Flask object. So app equal to Flask underscore underscore name underscore underscore. Now we are going to write a condition, because whenever we are going to upload a image to do the face detection with the images, that we have some of the extension file like txt file, we have the pdf file, we have a png file, we have a jpg file, we have a gif file, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to define a variable called allow extension, and with the help of allow extension then we can define, okay, so we allow the only png extension file to do the face detection via the images, jpg file, jpeg file as well as a gif file. Okay, so first what I'm going to do, first of all I'm going to create one, I'm going to define one of the if conditions. So here as you can see we have the if condition, if not
os.path.exist, in this case create the upload directory. So first of all we are going to create the upload directory, so that whenever we are going to do the detection with the images, we can store our all the detection images over our all upload directory. Okay, so that's why we are going to create a upload folder directory, so that whatever the image that we can use to do the detection, we can store under our upload directory. Now we are going to define a variable called allow extension. So allow extension, and in a dictionary format we are going to define these are the extensions. So via the PDF, via the PNG file, or the JPEG, GIF. So these are the file extension that we are going to define, so that the same file extension format file we can accept. Let's say the people, they are going to upload some other types of the file called MOV or the MP4 or the MP3 or the TXT. In this case we can't accept those particular file to do the face detection, so we can accept only this particular extension file. Okay, now we are going to define the our app root directory. So app underscore root equal to os.path.directory name. We are going to define our complete directory here, and after that whatever the images that we are going to upload to do the face detection, then we can store under our upload directory. So here app root, and we are going to join the complete path, so that whatever the images that we are going to upload to do the face detection, we can upload over the upload directory. Now we are going to call our config, so app.config, and here we are going to define our upload directory. So this is the variable we are going to define, so that we can store our complete images under our upload directory. Now let's try to create a complete route. So here we are going to create a route, first route. So app.route / we are going to pass the method called get as well as a post. So both request we are going to send. Now we are going to create a function. So define a function for index function try and accept block. Okay, and in a function, in a first route, we are going to define a render template, a index.html file that we are going to return here. Okay, so first route that we have, and with the help of the first route we are going to return our index.html file. Now what we are going to do, so now we are going to write a function to allow the file extension. So let me write a function here, or even that we can write an extension here as well. Okay, so let me write it down here. Fine, so we are going to define a function, so allow a file, so file name, and based upon the dot, so whatever the file that we are going to upload, let's say abc.jpg. so based upon this particular dot we are going to split our data. Okay, we are going to split our data, and let's say here the file name that I have abc.jpg. so it's a caps letter that we have, right? So we are going to convert into lowercase, and then we are going to check the extension, and based upon this particular extension then we can accept a file or we can reject the file. So that's why this is the function that we have, allowed file, and with the help of allowed file, based upon this particular extension, that we can do the detection of face detection. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to define our second route. So let me define our second route, and here that we are going to call our second route. So let me call our second route, and with the help of the second route that we are going to do the detection for our images. Okay, based upon the images that we are going to do the detection. So again, route method we are going to pass get as well as a post method, and function we are going to call a define a function to upload a file. Okay, now we have our complete if else condition. So if request method equal to post, so check if the post request has the file part. Okay, so we are going to send a post request here, and if file not in the request file, in this case that we can say a no file present. So let's say sometime what happened, we have opened our HTML file, index.html file, or we can say a home.html file, and without uploading a file that we click on the submit button, in this case that we will get the message called no file present. Okay, now we are going to write here return a statement. So return a redirect our request.url. Now file equal to request.file, so whatever the file that we are going to call, so same thing that we are going to return. Now if the user does not select the file and the browser submit an empty file without a file name, so in this case that we will get the empty file. So if file.file name equal to empty, so in this case no file selected, and the print message that we are going to call no file selected. So this is the flash and the print statement that we are going to print whenever our users they have not selected any types of the file to do the direction, and then we can redirect our request.url file. Now next if condition that we have, so if file and allow file, so whatever the file that we are going to upload to do the direction, and if those files have the valid extension like JPG or a PNG or a JPEG or the GIF or the PDF, in this case that we can call a print a file name first, our file name that we will get, then we are going to call a secure file name function from our Flask, and then we have our file name. After that we are going to save our image into the upload directory, so file.save os.path.join, and then we are going to save under our upload folder directory. So here we have created uploads directory. In this particular directory we are going to save our images, and then we are going to return our URL called downloaded file, and here that we are getting our complete redundant template. Okay, so based upon our extension we are going to accept the files, and then we are going to do the direction. Okay, and then we will get our redundant template called image.html file. Okay, now what we are going to do, so now that we are going to write our next route called upload route, so that we can upload our data. So yes, app.route, and here we are going to call the slash uploaded, and based upon the file name that we are going to define a function called download file, and based upon the file that we are going to download. Now whatever the uploaded under the upload directory that we have, based upon this particular extension, whatever the images that we are able to save under our upload directory, based upon those particular uploaded image, that we are going to do the direction. So face underscore object direct underscore object, we are going to call the face direction image. So this particular class that we are going to call, and with the help of this particular class that we are going to define our image path. Okay, so whatever the image that we have accepted based upon this particular if condition, we are going to do the direction based upon this particular acceptance of the file. So same image path we are going to call. Okay, now we are going to display the image, and then we are going to send the request to our uploaded directory, and based upon this one that we will get our complete direction of our images. So first we are going to accept the images based upon the extension, then we are going to call face direction image class. Based upon this one that we are going to direct the images of face direct, and then we are going to display our images based upon the images. Okay, now what we can do, we can define our next route, because this is all about our images, but we have one more file called face direct with the webcam. So let's try to define our complete route to direct via the web camera. So let me define a route here. So here we are going to call the next route. So app.route a slash that we are going to call a webcam. Method we are going to pass get as well as a post method. Function we are going to define a webcam, and try and accept block that we are going to call. And here based upon the web camera we are going to call the face detection webcam. We are going to load the camera, and then we will get the complete detection, and after that we have the return statement. Okay, so we will get our complete home page after the detection. Okay, now what we are going to do, so now we are going to add the our entry point so that we can run our application. So let me add the entry point here. So if underscore underscore name underscore underscore equal to, we are going to call the main, and then we are going to run our complete application. Okay, so in this way that we can define the multiple route, but the mainly that we have in our images, first that we need to accept the extension, and based upon the extension then we can do the complete direction. Okay, so yes, this is all about our application file, guys. Now what we can do, now we can do the testing for this particular face detection project for our images as well as for the web camera. Okay, so now let's try to open our terminal first of all. So I'm going to open my terminal, new terminal. After that, from here I'm going to select a command prompt. Now let's try to activate first of all our environment. So here if I show you, so this is the environment we are going to activate. So conda activate vnv slash, and then we can press the enter button. Let me clear the screen, and after that we are going to run our app.py file. So python app.py, let me press the enter button. Now as you can see our Flask app is working, and if I show you here, so our last log, so yes, this is the last log that we have, and with the help of this particular link
we can access our application. Even we can write a localhost 5000, we can access. So let me open my new browser. Let me press the enter button. So yes, this is our complete application that we have, a face detection application, where here we can do the detection using the uploaded image, and here we can do the detection using the web camera. So let's try to do the detection first of all with the images. So here I'm going to click on this particular upload, go to the upload image. So let me click here, we need to select the images. So let me select, and after that I'm going to select some of the images from here. So let me select the images, test, and right now if I show you our project directory, so here as you can see we are able to create our uploaded directory, but we did not have any types of the images. Okay, now if I go here, so here as you can see this is the images that we are going to select. Let me click on the open. Now the image that we have a PNG, it means we are going to accept this particular image with the help of this particular allow extension variable. So here we have a PNG, it means we can accept our images. Now if I show you the uploaded directory, so right now we did not have anything. So first of all that we need to click on this particular detect face option, and then we can save. So let me click detect, let's wait a few seconds. Now if I show you our directory, so here we are getting our test.png image. So this is the images that we are getting. Now if I show you our detection part, so yes, we are able to get the images here. Now let me show you the detection. So yes, this is the detection image that we have. So we are able to detect the successfully faces here. Okay, now let me close, let me press the Q button. Now from here that I'm going to select some other image, so detect. Okay, so now same thing that I did, but now let me go back and let me select the images first. So let me click select here, let me click on the this one. Now again that I'm going to select this particular image, so let me select second image, click on the detect. Let's wait a few seconds. Now here as you can see we are able to detect both the faces, right? Let me click on Q button so that we can destroy this particular window. Okay, now same way if you want you can select the multiple image and then you can do the detection. Okay, now if I show you our main project directory, so here we are able to save two images, whatever the two images that we have used to do the testing, to do the complete face detection. Now what I'm going to do, so let me open my browser again, and here let me go back. Now here this time I'm going to click on trigger web camera. So let me click on this particular trigger web camera. Now as you can see it's running, so it will take a few seconds. Okay, and after that we can detect our complete images or complete faces with the help of web camera as well. So let's wait a few seconds. Right now it's running, as you can see here it's running. Meanwhile that we can debug with our terminal as well. So in a terminal, okay, so we are not getting anything, but let's wait a few seconds. Here that we will get the complete detection image with the help of web camera as well. So right now it's running, so let's wait a few more seconds till the execution. Okay, so yes, it's running. It will take a few seconds because we are running with the camera. Okay, so whenever we are going to do the detection with the live camera, so in this case it will take a few seconds of the time to do the complete execution and to do the complete detection. Okay, and even as I'm using OBS software, so even in my OBS that I'm using the camera, okay, so it's active. So right now I don't know it will take images via my camera or not, but let's try once. Let's try. Okay, so I got the error. As you can see I got the error, a CVT color error that I got. Okay, so because of what? Because I'm using the my OBS camera as well. So what I can do, let me stop the recording for few seconds and let me do some changes, okay, in my OBS setting. Okay, so what I'm going to do, as you can see in our second file face detect underscore webcam.py file, so first that I have mentioned here, it means whatever the by default camera that I have, I'm going to use a by default camera, but now I'm going to change this one to 1 so that I can use my secondary camera, whatever my secondary laptop camera that I have. Okay, I'm using the two camera, first for the video recording, second my laptop camera that I have. So now this time 1, it means I'm going to use my second camera called my laptop. Okay, because I have set my primary camera called my whatever the recording camera that I have. Okay, now one, it means that I'm going to use my laptop camera. So what I can do, let me go over our webcam and our browser. Here I'm going to click on this particular trigger webcam option. So let me click. Now our camera is open, so it will take a few seconds. Okay, now as you can see here, we are getting our complete detection. So yes, face detection, that we are getting our complete face detection. Okay, as this is my laptop camera that I have, so that's why the quality is low. Okay, but yeah, now we are able to detect our faces with the live camera as well. Now let me destroy this one. Okay, so now I'm going to destroy. Okay, here that I'm going to do the modification. Okay, so 120 for default camera, okay, and 1 for your other camera, okay. So in this case, that we can do the modification and then we can detect. Okay, so yes, this is about our Flask based web application. Now what I'm going to do, now I'm going to create a Streamlit application. Okay, so let's try to create a Streamlit application. So here that we have main.py file. So now what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to import our all the library, whatever the library that we have here. So from here we are going to import all the library. So let me copy and paste our complete library from here to our main.py file. Let me paste here. Okay, so these are the library that we are going to import. Now after that, again we are going to call the same, we are going to create the directory first of all. So let me create that directory here. After that we are going to allow the extension. So let me allow the extension here. So this is the allow extension file that we have, same txt, pdf. If we want, we can allow the txt as well, pdf, png, jpg, gif, upload directory. Okay, now after that we are going to define a function to allow our complete this particular allowed extension file. So we are going to create a allowed file function, and with the help of this particular function we are going to return based upon the dot, like abc dot jpg. Based upon this particular dot, we are going to split our images name, and then we are going to convert into the lowercase, and then we are going to check, okay, so these images extension we have in our variable called allow extension or not. Based upon this one, that we can allow. Okay, now after that we are going to define a function to save the allowed image only. Okay, so let me define a function here. So this is the function that we have. So define a function to save a uploaded image, upload file, whatever the uploaded image that we have, we are going to save in our uploaded directory, upload directory. So we are going to join the complete path here, upload directory. After that, if the folder is not available, in this case we are going to create a folder, we are going to call the secure file, and after that we are going to read our images, whatever the images that we have in our file path directory, in our uploaded directory, we are going to read the images so that we can do the detection. So first we are going to save our allowed extension file in our uploaded directory, and then we are going to do the detection. Okay, now after that what I'm going to do, so next that we can define a function, our complete Streamlit function that we can define, and based upon the Streamlit function then we can do the complete detection. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here, so let me define a complete variable here. So I'm going to define my, first of all, our complete function here. So let me go over, and from here that I'm going to define our next function called the main function. So our images main function. Okay, so let me define a function. So this is the main function that we have. First of all, that we are going to set the title, so face detection application. We are going to select the select box, so choose a home page, uploaded images, or the webcam. Now we are going to write a condition, if page equal to home, welcome to the face detection application. If page equal to uploaded page, in this case that we can run this particular complete condition. So first we are going to select the complete type of the data, like whatever the allowed extension file that we have, like txt or the pdf or the png, jpg or a gif. Based upon this one, if uploaded file is not none, in this case that we can call our allowed file extension. If the file is allowed, in this case that we can perform a complete detection. So st.image, whatever the images that we have, we are going to set in our web application. Okay, same way, whatever the way that we have selected here. So if I show you, so from here that we have saved our images, so this particular images that we have saved, right? So same thing that we are going to save here, st.image image. After that, we are going to perform a face detection on our uploaded image, whatever the image that we have uploaded in our UI. Okay. Now after that, we are going to call the button. So if st.button call detect faces, so this is the button that we are going to set. Try image path. So from our uploaded directory, we are going to call the uploaded image. We are going to perform the face detection image class function so that we can detect a faces for our uploaded image. After that, we are going to display the image in our CV2, in our OpenCV. Okay, a complete frame. After that, this is the caption that we are going to call. So okay, so image st.image detect the images, use column length true, and the caption that we are going to call the detected faces. And after that, this is the message that we will get successfully detected. Okay, now here that we have the except block. So an error occur, and if the invalid file format, in this case upload a file again. Okay, now what we are going to do, so now that we are going to write our second if condition. So this is the if condition that we have for our images. Okay, we have selected the home page and the images. Now second that we are going to write if condition for our webcam. So if page equal to webcam, so let's say if our user selected a webcam here, in this case that we will get the right click the button below to trigger the webcam, and then button that we will get the trigger webcam name. We have our complete try and accept block. So here we are going to call this time face detection webcam class, and after that we are going to call the load camera function. So first that we can call our class, then function, so that we can load the camera, and after that we can detect the face images in a real time. After that, the message that we will get a successfully detected, and if we want to quiet the images, in this case that we can press a Q button. Okay, now let me add our entry point so that we can run our application. So here we are going to run our entry point to detect our complete application with the help of Streamlit. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to open my terminal here, and after that let me select the command prompt. Here we are going to activate our environment. So okay, we already have the activated environment. Let me clear the screen. Now from here what I'm going to do, so in our requirement.txt we did not have the Streamlit, right? So first of all we need to install the Streamlit. So pip install Streamlit. Let me press enter button. So first we can install the Streamlit application, and after that we can run. So let me add here Streamlit, and in our readme file we are going to call the next for Flask app execution. We can execute a python app.py. For Streamlit app execution we can call Streamlit run main.py file. Okay, so this is the command that we can run whenever we want to execute our Streamlit application, and whenever we want to execute our Flask application we can run our app.py file. Okay, so let's wait few more seconds till the installation of our Streamlit, and then we can execute our Streamlit run main.py file so that we can test our complete application. Okay, so now we are able to install our Streamlit application. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to run. So Streamlit run app.py. Let me press the enter button. Okay, so Streamlit run app.py. Let me press the enter button again. So it will take a few seconds, and after that it will execute and it will create one of the link, and based upon the link we can access our application. So now as you can see, this is our application. So it's opening. Let's wait a few more seconds, and after that we can check here. So yes, this is our Streamlit application that we have right now. As you can see, it's running. So let's wait few more seconds, and after that we can select the home page or the images detection or the webcam detection. Okay, one by one that we can select. So it's running. Let me check it out if any error that we are getting in a terminal or not. If yes, in this case that we can check it out. So okay, so we got the error here. Value signal only works in a main thread. Let me check it out once. Main thread, what is the error? App exception. main.py file, and here we have our exception of phase exception class component. So this is correct. Let me copy this particular complete things from here. Let me go over the main.py file again, that I'm going to copy and paste this one. So yeah, this is correct, but why we are getting the error? What I can do, let me copy this particular value error from here. Let me go over the Chrome. Now again that I'm going to, let me check it out. Let's debug if it's a signal error. Again, it's the first time this particular error that I have shown here, but let me check it out once. No, this is not a Flask, as we are running the okay, so in your application to run it just now Python init. Let me check it out. What I can do, let me interrupt this one once. So let me open my term and let me delete once. Let me select the command prompt from here again. Okay, once let me check it out this particular class, phase detection class, as well as our second class. So yes, this is the correct that we have. Fine. Now let's activate the environment. Conda activate env or vnv. Now again we are going to run our Streamlit application. So okay, so it will take a few seconds to, yeah. Now Streamlit run main.py. Let me press the enter button. So look like in the previous time I run app.py. Let's wait few seconds till the execution. After that we can run our application. So yeah, now we are getting the localhost link. So let's go over the application. Again it will take a few seconds. Now Streamlit running app, as you can see here, running app. Okay, so now here we are getting a face detection application. So look like in the previous time that I run app.py file, that's why I got the error. Now this is the home page that we have. So welcome to the face detection. If I show you here, so let me go over our main.py file, and this is the page that we have. So welcome to the face detection application, right? Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to select the upload images. Let me select the images from here. This time I'm going to select some other image. So let me select here, or let me select any random image that we can select from here. So yes, let's wait a few seconds that we will get the complete. As you can see, it's running. So yeah, we are getting our complete image. Let me click on the detect faces. So yes, this is the detection images that we are getting, right? Now we are able to detect successfully our complete images, a complete faces that we are able to detect. Now what I'm going to do, let me quiet. Same way that we can select a webcam. Okay, so I got the error here once. A error occurred in non-type object, no format. Okay, so in this case what you can do, you can just add one more exception here, one more exception that you can add, okay, to handle this particular error. So our application is working fine, right? So we just need to handle this particular error, nothing else. So even that you can go ahead with this one as well. Anyhow that we have our complete Flask application. Now you can select a webcam, and via the webcam that you can do the complete face detection. Okay, so yes guys, this is all about our face detection project. Let me know your complete feedback in a comment section, and if you have any doubt, let me know in a comment section. And if you want a certificate for this particular complete project, in a description section that I have mentioned a course link, a free of cost, you will get the complete certificate. So make sure you can enroll in the courses, and then you can generate your certificate for this particular project. Okay, so yes guys, this is all about in this particular project. Make sure you can hit the like button, subscribe the channel, and share with your friends. See you in our upcoming project. Thank you.